Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill, located in Alexander City, Sylacauga, and Daviston, Alabama. And one of their biggest fans of their wings, and I'm sure he'd probably be in that wing eating contest if he were back in time. But down in Florida, getting ready for Elite Series Tournament number 2 is Greg Vinson, our Bassmaster Elite Series Pro and Sportz Blitz Outdoors Specialist. Greg, what's up?
Doing good, guys. Hey, just a week away. Want to have a good finish here first, and then I'll get back to JR's and get me another wings and fingers combo. My favorite.
Hey, it just calls your name. You can smell it all the way down in Florida, can't you?
I'm going through withdrawals, man. I've been on the road for almost 2 weeks now, and I'm going through withdrawals. Well,
Greg, I tell you what, it's been a hectic couple of weeks for you. Coming off your first Bassmaster Classic tournament, finishing 24th. That's a heck of a finish for someone fishing their first classic, and the competition level. You're fishing against the 54 best fishermen, or the 53 other best fishermen, because you're in that top 54. And to finish in the top 25 was a remarkable feat. You move on. You fished the first Elite Series tournament this past week. Why don't you just give everybody an update?
It was a good tournament. I had found a few fish that I wanted to sight fish for, and I got to do that the first 2 days. There weren't quite as many fish as what I had found in practice, but it was still enough to get me up there near the top. And then I just basically ran out of fish. I had a horrible third day and dropped a good bit, but I still stayed in the money, and still overall wasn't a bad start to the season. So got a nice check. That was good. And as soon as I finished up, we packed it all up and headed up here to St. John's, and just finished the second day of practice here at St. John's River. And I think this is going to be an exciting tournament. There's going to be a lot of nice fish caught. I expect to see some heavy weights come in, especially on the first day of the tournament.
Shaw Grigsby wins that first tournament, Greg, and he really kind of ran away from the field. And fishing down in Florida is a little bit different than it is what we're accustomed to up here in the state of Alabama. Of course, warmer temperatures, year-round, tend to make the bass spawn a lot quicker. Those fish were on bed, and that's how Shaw won it. That's how you caught your fish, and Shaw just happened to be on an area that replenished day in and day out, and he caught some big weights.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I think he had almost 30 pounds for a 5-fish limit the second day, and he had a 10-pounder. So, and this was in an area that 3 or 4 other boats were fishing, and all the guys actually fishing that area were doing well. And that's the key to doing well anywhere in Florida is putting yourself in an area where there's a good concentration of fish. There's a lot of good-looking cover, and it takes a lot of time and effort to find them. But if you can find that little sweet spot, especially where some are coming in, that's when you can do the most damage. And a 3-4 day tournament, you got to have something that's going to produce over the course of time, and so that's what he did. And Shaw's one of the best sight fishermen, if not the best sight fisherman in the world. And it's not all about just catching the fish that you can see, but it's about being able to predict how that area is going to replenish. And I think that's one of the areas where Shaw shines, and it paid off for $100,000 for him last week at the Harris Chain.
Well, Greg, Austin here. I kind of want to go back to the Classic because it's such an honor. I mean, you're talking about, first of all, you're in the Elite Series, and that's all the best fishermen in the world every week. But the Classic is the Masters. It is the Daytona. It is the tournament of your sport. And you go in there as a rookie to the tournament and finish in the top half. Is that about where you figured you'd think? Were you happy with the result? And particularly in an area where you weren't too terribly familiar with. This wasn't like they had it at Lake Martin.
Yeah, that's true. Looking back on it, Austin, I'm happy with the way I finished. The conditions changed, and it kind of changed the bites. During practice, I actually expected to do a little better than that. But the bite changed a little bit, and I was totally committed to an area. I was making a 2-hour run one way, and spent most of my practice time there, so I was pretty much committed to that. And I was just, hoping that it would work out. And but hey, I had a good start. Made the cut in the Classic first time. So, now we're entering the second Elite Series tournament. I'm back trying to qualify for the 2012 Classic. So, I want to go back. I want a shot to win at Shreveport, and man, it was such an exciting event. You know, it's something I dreamed about, you know, my entire life, and since I was a little kid, and you know, it didn't really even seem like it might be a possibility until just 2 or 3 years ago. So just to be able to fish the Classic was a, you know, a huge honor, and now I'm anxious to get back and try to go for a win.
We got Greg Vinson on the phone with us from Florida as he gets set to fish Elite Series Tournament number 2. And Greg, you know, being on this trail, and just like any professional athlete in NBA or the major leagues, you know, a win or a loss, you don't have time to dwell on either one. You got to move on. So in essence, you really don't even have a chance to sit down and really soak in what you're going through right now in this time of your life. Have you really been able to sit down over any time in the last 2 years and just kind of think, man, I've arrived, I'm here, I'm living a dream, I'm fishing at the highest level that you can possibly fish, and I'm competitive. I'm not just here, but I'm making noise and I'm getting better and better. Do you ever sit down and just kind of, you know, evaluate yourself?
Yeah, I have. You know, I have had a chance to look back during the off season. You know, and it was only 10 years ago that I joined the bass club and started doing, you know, tournament fishing and kind of doing my own thing. And you know, to come from just being a rookie in a bass club to, you know, fishing a Bassmasters Classic 10 years later, it was, you know, it's kind of humbling to think about. You know, it's lots happen quick, and, you know, and when you're out here on the trail and you're fishing back-to-back tournaments, you know, you got to keep looking forward. You can't ever be content with anything, or you'll fall behind. So you're always looking forward and always looking to improve. And you know, that's my goal every year in my career, is just to show some level of improvement. And you know, I think I've done that. It's been a slow, steady process, but I have been fortunate enough to improve in, you know, how I performed each year leading up to it. So, you know, as long as you're improving all the time, the sky's the limit, and that's the way I look at it.
Well, Greg, everybody can follow you on our Facebook page and on Twitter. They can follow you as you update in the tournaments. Greg, I know the last thing a coach wants to hear when we interview them is, what do you think about a team that's way on down the line, or what do you think about somebody else? And because y'all focus from one game to the next, one tournament to the next, but I know you've already looked at the schedule and the elite schedule. Is there a tournament that's on this year's schedule that you're more excited about than any of the others?
Well, I guess right offhand I would probably say Pickwick. We're going to hit it at a good time. If the weather is stable, we don't get any major systems coming through right in the middle of the tournament, I think that could be a real exciting tournament. Some nice largemouth and nice smallmouth too. I love catching smallmouth, and not something I get to do very much. I got a chance to fish up north a few years ago in a couple of tournaments, but you know, I'd love to catch some big smallmouth on Pickwick, and so that's the one that I'd say I'm looking forward to the most.
Well, Greg, I for one want to thank everything you've done for not only Sportz Blitz, but this whole community. You're representing us well. And look, we had a pretty good run when I was a center and you were the quarterback in high school. If you ever need somebody to hook your night crawlers for you in one of these tournaments, you know, hey, I'm available.
Hey, that sounds like a plan, Austin. You know, as fishermen, we don't make enough money to have a caddy, but if I could, I would definitely hire you.
Hey, you're on the way, man. You're about to be up there in the high tax bracket.
Hey, they ought to think about that, Greg. You need somebody to tote those rods. So.
Well, you know, I think all the time it'd be nice to have somebody help me to load the boat and you know, and clean up the boat at night and get all the tackle reorganized and reline and refuel and all that good stuff. But you know, right now my wife Stephanie, she's probably as close as that as it gets. You know, when she's able to come along with me, and when she does, she's a huge help. But no, I still got to earn a few more dollars before I can afford my caddy.
Well, Greg, I know you just hit on it before we let you go. A lot of people out there dream about doing what you're doing, but as you just stated, it's not all glitz and glamour all the time. There's a lot of thankless stuff that goes on, and a lot of extended hours that you have to spend to make sure you're in position to be successful. And you know, being on the road, it wears and tears on you, and you know, and having a wife and having somebody that supports you like Stephanie can make all the difference in the world in how successful you either are or you're not, because without that support, it would be tough to be out there. But spending more nights away from home than you actually spend in your own bed can kind of start wearing on you. But that's the life of a professional athlete. You're no different than an NBA player moving from city to city every night, or a Major League Baseball player, or an NFL football player, any of you guys, because you're having to go where you got to compete. And I know that kind of gets a little wear and tear on you.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it, is the travel and being away from home. And man, I've been so blessed. You know, Stephanie and I started dating in high school. We met at Benjamin Russell High years ago, and
that ain't been that long ago. Don't make it sound that bad.
I tell you, I don't want to say how many. Let's put it that way.
Leave that out.
Look, we went to school with you. We know exactly how many years it was.
That's why we're saying let's not use the date, okay?
Well, I tell you what, man, she's been. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for her support. I mean, her moral support, and you know, and she's been behind me all the way. She's my biggest fan, and you know, if I have a tough one, you know, it's like, you know, she doesn't get down on me, but she hurts because she knows that, you know, that I hurt. So, and same for when I do well. So, you know, it's awesome to have somebody there to share that with me. And I think she knows more about what's going on in the bass fishing world as far as news than I do. She's on all the sites, checking up on all the anglers and all the news. So she is truly a bass fishing fan.
Well, Greg, you know, when we all took our wedding vows, you know, we said for better, for worse, and unfortunately for all of our wives up here, Randy's, mine, yours, Austin, Luke's, we're the worst half and they're the better half. We got the better end of the deal.
I'll second that.
Well, Greg, I tell you what, it's a lot of fun, and again, we'll be following you on our Facebook page, and all of our fans out there can follow you as well and keep up to date. Good luck to you, and again, when you get back home next week, we'll have you on the set to talk to you in person. Look forward to having you back.
That sounds great, and don't forget that wings and fingers combo at JR's.
Hey, I don't think Miss Ann will forget about that at all. She'll have it waiting on you, Greg, when you get back.
All right, man. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, Greg. Thanks so much.